Okay, so welcome back to Down the Shed. In this episode, we're going to be making this kidz robotic doodling robot. It's from the 4N company, which is the same company that did the robotic crab that I built. So I'm expecting this to be a fun little build. This was in sealed packaging. I think it retails on their website, which you'll find in the description, a link to it. For I think it's either £17.50 or £17.99. I think the other one was I think the crab was £17.50. I think this is £17.99. I've got it for the amazing value of £3 from my local charity shop. So I get a nice little build kit for the channel, and charity gets a few bob. So that's part of it. As you can see, it's still in the sealed bag, so everything should be here. There's nothing else in the box. So let's have a quick read. Build a robot that's an artist. Doodling robot's motor makes it shake and spin to draw spectacular patterns on paper. Make it a vibro robot by removing the pens. Slides across smooth surfaces. So there's a quick view of contents in the box. So don't need that anymore. We'll put it in the bin later, recycling bin. So let's open the packet. Carefully, children, if you're doing this, make sure you have adult supervision before using knives or scissors. So we have the 3 felt tip pens. That's the battery compartment cover. So the switch is already built in, and again they've used the method of pushing the wires in to a metallic jobby. Again, I shall take this one stage further and use my soldering iron just to solder it together. As you'd expect, there we go, there's the 2 yellow plugs for the caps for the wiring. But being slightly more competent, actually we'll try and do it the proper way. If not, we'll do it my way. So there's our electric motor with wires. And let's just put all these parts out and about. That's obviously a motor cap. So I'm just going to assume that all the correct parts are here, as it was sealed. So we'll zoom that out a little touch. There you go. You can see all the parts on the desk, almost. So what we shall do is have a quick scan through these instructions. Examine the base plate. The underside is the side with the battery case, which will be that part. There are 2 slots for the motor on this side. Push the motor into the slot in the centre of the base plate. Spindle first. Make sure that the small metal ring around the motor spindle fits right into the hole in the base of the slot. Okay, so with the battery case that way, we want to, by all accounts, put this into there, so that pushes through flush like so. Fit the motor cover over the motor with the square side over the wire connections. Secure the cover with 2 screws. So again, you can see the protruding area. So we'll fit that. Looks like the wires are coming out this way. Okay, so the motor's matching the diagram, but my colours are opposite. So it looks like the negative will go across to this side and the positive is going to come across to that side. No biggie. We shall push those down with the tweezers. I do like soldering them better, but since we're going to do this as if we were a young child, we shall do it how we're supposed to. So like that, so we'll push that down. So we've slid this over the motor. Cool, it's nice and tight. That's good. It's quality parts, the plastics. I'll give them that. So again, with the protruding section, that goes over there like that, and slide it over like so. Secure with 2 screws, which means we need to go into this bag. Again, children, if children are watching this, my video channel is not for children. However, it doesn't stop them actually watching the channel, which is why I do like to try and keep language, etc. clean. Just because you swear in real life doesn't mean you have to swear on your YouTube channel. So we have a selection of self-tapping screws. So we'll take one of those, drop it in the hole and secure it down. Don't go over tight yet. It is tight screwing it in, but then these are self-tapping, so you'd expect it to be, as it bites in, creating its threads. So again, just tighten that down. And then drive them home. So when you get maximum resistance, stop, because you're all the way home. There we go. So that's the motor fitted, the motor cover fitted. The weight has a small hole on its underside. Push the small hole over the motor spindle. 3. Where's number 3? Okay, so this is the weight, I'm guessing, because it matches the picture, as you can see on number 3. The weight has a small hole on its underside. Push the small hole over the motor spindle. So just push that over and press it home, as you can see, like so. The robot doodler has 3 arms connected to the rim of the base plate. Push one end of an arm support over a hole in the edge of the base plate. Secure the support with a nut and bolt. The arm should be tightly attached to the plate, but you should still be able to turn it from side to side. Attach the other 2 arm supports to the other holes in the base plate. That appears to be these 3 little jobbies here. So those are, if the camera can pick it up, you can see there is actually nut shaped indents for the nuts to fit into. So following the guide, as you can see on there's 1, 2 and 3, so those will go over like that. And secure with a nut and bolt. So put the bolt in the top. Even though it has a screw head, technically a bolt is anything which connects to a nut. A screw is something that doesn't. So we want to be able to turn this from side to side. So we'll take a nut, slide that in the hole, securely tighten, but don't over tighten. So that's quite tight, too tight. And we can turn that from side to side. There's still a bit of tightness there. We might have to loosen that up slightly. You don't want to loosen it too much, otherwise they'll work loose. So that's moving quite easily. So I might even go just slightly more off. There we go. The nut and the bolt are moving together, so that shouldn't loosen. So we'll do that with the other two. So slide it over like so. You're probably better off actually putting the nut in on the underside first and then putting the bolt into the top. So we'll just give that a bit of a screw down. Again, don't over tighten it. We might be able to tighten them up slightly later. I don't know how loose they need to be. And for the last one, I'll actually put the nut in first, I think. There we go. So the nut's in. Place that into the hole like so. Add your nut, add your bolt, my bad. I am hoping that 4M will be quite happy with my video and may support the channel by supplying me with a few more kits. You never know our luck. It would be nice. The channel does need some sort of support until I've got that HGV license I've discussed. Once I've got that, we'll be more than happy not to be endorsed by anyone, because we'll be having plenty of money coming in. Since it's such a shortage of lorry drivers at the moment, we can almost name your own price. Right. 3 arms, blah 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 blah. Hold 2 halves of a pen holder together and slot the narrow ends into one of the arm supports. Push a bolt through the holes in the pen holder and the arm support and put a nut on the bolt. Tighten the bolt until the joint is tight but can still move. Add a pen holder to the other 2 arm supports. So these are our pen holders. We seem to have an extra 4 there, so we're not sure if we're coming back to those. Do they all look different? Do they all look the same? They all look the same to me. So we probably need those for something else, or they could be spares. Okie dokie, so we take 2 of these, we want them with the flat ends to go into the supports we've already done. You might want to do this bit before you fit those actually, it could be easier. There is some free movement there, so you don't want to over tighten these nuts and bolts again. So, nut in one side, bolt in t'other, try and get it all to line up. So this is the fiddly fun part. There we go. See if that'll screw through there on its own. And it does. So again, don't over tighten it. They are quite stiff in there anyway. And that's without actually even tightening this. Now add an arm end to the end of each arm and secure them with nuts and bolts. So that will be these little robot hand type devices, which will go in there like that. So let's get a bolt in there. Well, pick it up. So you don't want to over tighten any of this, just enough is good enough. So there we go, we've still got a bit of movement on there, so we'll leave that like that. So we need to do that with the other two parts. Lining these two bits up is the hardest part so far, I think. But then if it was too easy, it wouldn't be fun. Got wood stain all over my hand. I keep thinking it's blood. That's from staining the Spitfire kit we did. So just screw that in slightly to get it through the holes. Bung in your nut and tighten. When you find it bite, just come back half a turn. Give it a wiggle. So for the last one, I'm wondering whether we've got too many pen holders. We'll see. I might have used the wrong parts. 3 arm supports, pen holders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we've got spare pen holders basically. So we'll get the other end in here. Again, pop the bolt in, just screw it in a bit to locate it. There we go. Get the nut into place. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the new way I do picture in picture with the camera. I think it gives you a better idea of what's going on, not only on the bench, as I've always had my overhead view, but you can see from the camera over there everything that's going on, if this goes out of view or if I'm doing other things, which I think is always helpful. You might notice sometimes I just give the original overhead view or just the distance view, but sometimes you don't need both. So we'll screw this one in like so, and for the last one so that currently, I think goes that way up anyway. That's currently our base unit. Now you need to connect the wires from the battery to the wires from the motor. There are two terminal holes on the underside of the base plate. Push the bare ends of the red wire from the battery case and the red wire from the motor into one hole. Push the terminal cap into the hole to trap and connect the wires. Repeat with the black wires on the other terminal hole. Bearing in mind this is made for ages 3 years up, they're not really going to want you messing around with a soldering iron. So this is why they've come up with this simple but ingenious solution of just pushing the wires into the hole here. And the metal ring around the top gives you your connection, which I think is quite clever. I mean, it's not my ideal cup of tea, but it does make for a suitable and child-friendly connection. So we'll do the other one. If you remember, in the robotic crab I decided to solder them, but on this occasion I'm hoping to impress 4M, and so we're going to do it by the book. So we'll just hold that one now for the moment. Let's place this one in like so. Let's get our cap, pop the cap in. We won't make an adult joke there. So we should have a working motor at this point. So I need to find an acceptable battery. So bear with. So there we go, we've inserted a battery, switch it on, and we have power. So at the moment we're quite happy with that. Might loosen that one up a bit. There we go. So let's just put that down. Put the transparent cover over the weight and secure it with 2 screws in the holes in the base plate. So again, okay, if you read the instructions correctly and follow it, we're putting it over the weight and not over the motor, so there we go. So we have 2 more of these self-tappers. I need to magnetise. So the easiest way of doing the first one will be just drop it, pop it in the hole, offer it up and just start it off like so. Let's take the other one, drop that in the hole, offer it up, start it off. Now we can pick it up and drive these home. So once you, there you go, once you get home it'll bite nice and tight. Like so. So again, we're just nice free spinning motor there. The battery is in nicely. Slot the robot eyes into the two columns located at the front of the base plate. Number 9. Okay. So, one there. Don't know how far in they should go, but that's happy enough. And one here. So I do believe if you're not going to use it with the pens, it should just dance around I'm going to tighten these hands up a bit. Insert a double A 1.5 volt battery into battery case. We've already done that. Insert the battery case cover with a screw. That we haven't done. So battery case in like so. That's nice and flat. So we'll take another screw, drop that in there. We'll tighten it down. Being a right-handed person using a left-handed screwdriver. Joke. Push a felt tip pen into the pen holder in each of the arms. The nibs of the pens must point down, so they must be on the underside of the base plate where the battery is. Congratulations, your doodling robot is ready to draw. Always cover your working area with sheets of newspaper so that the working surface is not stained by ink if the doodling robot leaves the drawing paper. Place a large sheet of drawing paper or newspaper if you like on the working area. Using the adhesive pads provided, put strips of paper along the edges of the drawing paper, creating a border. This will stop the doodling robot from leaving the paper. Adhesive pads provided. Okay, there we go. So they're in the bag with the pens. To draw a circle line pattern, check that all the arms are all pointing straight outwards and are level so that the pens are vertical. Remove the pen caps and switch on the motor. Gently put the robot doodler onto a large sheet of paper and let it go. It should move in a circle drawing 3 coloured lines. When you are happy with the pattern the robot doodler is drawn, lift the robot off the paper, switch off the motor and replace the pen caps. You can also fix one of the pens to the drawing paper with an adhesive pad. The robot will revolve around this pen, drawing larger circles with its other 2 pens. So I think that's possibly what, I don't know what that hole's for. To draw straight line patterns, turn the pen holders so they are all parallel and tilt the pens slightly outwards, see diagram. The robot should run along a straight line, drawing lines as it goes. Try installing the motor in the other slot, which is off-center in the base plate. Your doodling robot will tend to spin in a more unpredictable way than when the motor is in the center and will draw a more random pattern. So that is why we have another hole there and these 2 pillars so that we can move the motor over to here. We may try that. Try adjusting the height of the base plate by moving the pens up and down in their holders. Drawing robot will spin faster if the base plate is higher and slower if lower. Try different combinations of angles of the pen holders. You might make doodling robot draw some new and interesting patterns. There are endless possibilities. Some extra pen holders are provided for you. With these you can extend the arms and add more pens to make even more colourful patterns. You could add ballpoint pens or coloured pencils instead of felt tip pens. Please note, ask an adult's permission before you use other pens. They might wear out quickly because of the vibrations. How about organising a doodling robot gala? 2 or 3 robots on the same sheet of paper. Watch how they bump into each other and create interesting patterns. Troubleshooting, how does it work in fun facts? So, there are the diagrams. There's one, and there's the other. So, I'm not going to worry about a sheet of paper because I have my workbench which regularly gets repainted. So let's just okay, so that is the up way. Let's bang these pens in. Again, children, if we're using knives, scalpels, scissors or any form of blade, get an adult supervision or an adult to supervise even. So the reason why we had these other 2 pen holders is so we can extend these arms out if we want to, which is rather thoughtful of 4M. So you may need to loosen these to get the pens in. There we go. Once the pens are in, I'm guessing you can tighten them down a bit. So that's one. Let's just push it down. We'll have it about there. So we'll just loosen this one off. Put the pen in. Remember, kiddies or adults, if your children have other felt tips, you don't have to use the ones provided. You could change the colours. But seeing as they provided us with felt tips and I don't actually have any, it would be rude not to. That's about right. So we'll just give that a bit of a tighten. And for the yellow, actually I think I just lost the nut somewhere. Yeah, I have. I haven't tightened this one down properly. So let's get that pen in. Make sure the height's similar. Nope, too far. That'll do. Get that nut back in its little holder. It doesn't seem to be tightening. No, is that biting? Okay. So why is that not biting? Let's try a different bolt. So we'll just release this bolt here out and put a different one in. But I don't know which one I just pushed out, so we'll take this one. Take a different nut, just to be sure. There we go, felt that tie in. So we'll try it with the lids on first. And as you can see, that is completely exciting. we'll take the lids off and see if anything happens. Let's try it upside down first. Nothing. So let's take the lids off and see what happens. We'll use our well, we'll just let it go as it is. So the robotic crab was quite fun. I'm not going to contact 4M and ask them for freebies to try and promote the channel, because to be fair, that is shite. So for my £3, I've got 3 felt tip pens, an electric motor, a switch, and a completely crap bunch of plastic parts that make up this robot. So it's also supposed to make we'll tighten these up, make an exciting vibrating robot. It's probably more usable as this exciting robot as it is a bloody... So let's tighten all these up. And again, pretty crap. So could I recommend this? Not on your life. What am I going to do with it? Throw the nuts and bolts into my nuts and bolts area. So, throw the nuts and bolts into my nuts and bolts storage. Oh, another one's just falling out. So if you do them loose enough for it to move, they fall out. The other robot kit, the crab, I was quite impressed with. I actually like that. But to be fair, that is shite. So, if you're looking on the 4M website and you see the doodling robot, don't waste 18 quid. I wasted 3, and I mean I wasted 3 quid. If I'd have paid 18 quid for this, I'd be really, gotta say it, I'd be really pissed off. So, that's what I think of it. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be about 40 seconds long, with my completed Spitfire airplane, and then we'll get back to the L&Co 15-1 projects, which are 1,000 times better than this piece of trash. So, see you soon.